What is up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Vendetta Sports Media Daily Show. It is March 24th. I'm Jerry Walker, and alongside me is Griffin Toothpaste Crest. Griffin, how you doing before we hop into this?
I'm doing good today, Jerry. How are you?
Pretty good. Cannot complain. Some exciting March Madness last night. More coming up today. What did you think of those games last night? I guess we'll start there.
I mean, man, I feel like we just got to talk about Marquez Cal. He was so good last night. 20 points, 19 assists. I think most in NCAA history. Kansas State got the win. I was happy for that. I wish I stuck with my original bracket because right now mine's going to the shitter right now. It's not like
Yeah, I feel that brackets have not been doing too well. A lot of upsets, which makes for it to be exciting, but I always find it to be that gut instinct. Whatever your initial thought is, you go with that and it works out better. But
yeah.
for me, it wasn't the case this year. But no, he was on fire for Kansas State and really had an important part in that game went to overtime, I believe. And it was close at the end there. Michigan State looked like they were going to be able to pull away in overtime and then he clutched up.
Yeah. I love their play with Marquez kind of arguing with the coach and then just threw the lob. That was so sweet. I loved that.
Oh, yeah, the reverse dunk at the end
Yep.
as well. Such a nice play.
Yeah.
I mean, you said that. I think that's the best single-player performance we've seen so far in March Madness.
Yeah. I mean, outside, I think another name like that comes to my mind, not being like Indiana biased, but TJD. I mean, he was a monster against Kent State the first round.
Yeah.
He had 20 points, like 10 rebounds, five assists, 5+ blocks. Like, he's an animal. But I mean, this is the year of the upset, so it's gonna be cool to see what else came.
It really is. I mean, another upset last night. FAU beating Tennessee. I live in Nashville. A lot of upset Volunteers fans around here, and rightfully so. They kind of got dominated in that second half, from what I saw.
They did. I mean, yeah, it was very similar to the UCLA Gonzaga game, and FAU came back like on a 15-2 run. I was like, oh man, Tennessee's got this in the bag. Like my original bracket's gonna be like lit. Like I have them in my Final Four. Like let's go. And then FAU just came back, and I was rooting for Tennessee that entire game. I wanted them to win. I didn't want the FAU to win just because FDU kind of got scummed in that game, and they had the dunk at the end, which is very disrespectful. Like they knew they were gonna lose. So.
Yeah, there's certain unwritten rules in basketball, and that's one of them. You don't just throw down a dunk at the end of a game when it's already over.
Yeah.
Maybe they were trying to help with the spread for certain bettors. I know the spread wasn't actually that close, so
yeah.
Bummer to not see Fairleigh Dickinson. I wonder if they would have been able to pull off the upset of Tennessee had they played them.
I mean, I think they could have, honestly. Like, you see Tennessee just throughout the year, you see Chickster kind of talking a little bit smack for them and getting upset a lot. So, I mean, you never know around March. They could have been like the first, 16 seed in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, that would have been quite a story right there. And I mean, and they had to be in the play-in as well to get to the chance to play Purdue, which even cooler. But that lines us up for an interesting Elite Eight matchup on that quadrant. FAU versus Kansas State.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I like Kansas State in there because they looked good against Michigan State in that second half for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think they look like the championship team right now outside of like Alabama or Houston.
Yeah,
I mean, or like I feel like top four right now: Alabama, Houston, UConn, and Kansas State. Trey, go Zags. Trey, your stuff's not gonna work. I'm sorry.
No, go Huskies.
Go Huskies.
Just have a feel. It feels like that one of those weird years where it's going to be not one of those big name teams. It's like a UConn year back when. Well, what was the year they won it with Kemba? Was that 2011? Is it that long ago?
I think 2011, 2013.
Yeah, either way. I just had a feeling all season. I threw down a little bet back in December on UConn to win it. So fingers crossed that they do. So
what's that payout looking like? I think
it was like plus, I want to say 16 or 1700 at the time. I threw like 5 down on it. Can't find it.
Damn. I mean, that's still a very good payout.
It was just a bowl. It was just one of those. We see all the one seed or the number one ranked teams losing. It's like, why not throw some chaos in and see what happens? But like Trey said, Drew Timme, he's a baller. He is really good. And he came up clutch against UCLA last night. Gonzaga ended up winning by 3, but I think the story of that second half was UCLA went damn near 12 minutes without making a field goal. That's not going to cut it against any team, especially a team as experienced as Gonzaga.
Yep. I mean, you can't do that in March. You really can't. Like even going like 5 minutes is kind of deadly for like any single point lead. I mean, Drew, as Trey said just now, Drew Timmy put on a buffet, and I gotta hand it to him. The Stetson Bennett of college basketball really showed up. So
Honestly, 36 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists last night. And this game wasn't exactly close at halftime either. It was what, a 13-point lead for UCLA. So
I think so. Yeah.
came up clutch for him. And I mean, there's a reason he's still there. He's such a good player. I think he wanted to end his college career on a high note, and this is the first time in a while it seems like we haven't seen Gonzaga as a 1 seed and choke it. So maybe there's that little extra pressure taken off their shoulders being a 3 seed, which makes them dangerous for anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll go on to the other game last night. That was pretty straightforward. UConn beat the hell out of Arkansas, and that's kind of why I have a feeling they could put a run together even more so. What are your thoughts on that one?
I mean, UConn is looking so good right now. I feel like they've just, as I said before, they're in contention with anyone, and they could definitely win the national championship, like with how open this year has been and just all the upsets you see. And I mean, this could be UConn's year again. And if I was a betting man, I would put it on UConn right now.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I mean, they beat the hell out of St. Mary's, who was kind of the closest thing Gonzaga had to competition in the WCC conference. So they have experience playing against those kind of teams. Sure, Gonzaga is a completely different beast than St. Mary's, but the Gales still got a win or two over Gonzaga in the regular season, so you never know.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, what are your thoughts on tonight's game? But if you have a point on that, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I was just gonna comment like what you said, just now, that St. Mary's was, I feel like, a different beast this year. I mean, Gonzaga has always been good and will always be that dog in the WCC. But St. Mary's, even though they fell short this year, they had an incredible season.
Yeah, it's nothing to hang their heads on because, I mean, St. Mary's is the 5 seed. I thought they were going to lose to VCU in that first round, so proved that wrong clearly and gave UConn a little bit of a game early on, but then the Huskies kind of just blew them away.
Yeah.
But what are your thoughts on tonight's games? We have Alabama versus San Diego State, Houston versus Miami, the underdog Princeton against Creighton, and then Xavier, Texas. Guess we'll start with that Princeton one because who doesn't love talking about a Cinderella team? 15 seed in the Sweet 16. It'd be so cool to see them go one step further.
I mean, I would love to see the Princeton nerds just come out and just whoop Creighton's ass.
Oh, it'd be so funny.
Love to see that. I was always been like kind of a soft spot for Creighton in the tournament. I mean, they've always been good, and I feel like this year could be their year to really do something, and they've kind of fallen short in the past. But I mean, you see the Princeton players like literally doing their AP Calc homework in the hotel room, and I think that's kind of something to laugh about, and can't hate on it. So I would love to see that story continue.
Yeah, see some Ivy League representation in that Elite Eight. I don't know when the last time an Ivy League team made it that far. Might have been Yale at some point, but even then,
Yale or Brown.
Yeah, I feel like Yale always went out in that either Sweet 16 or the round of 32 if they upset in the first round.
Yeah.
Well, your predictions for that one, what do you think? Do you think Princeton's able to get it done, or do you think it's going to be a little too much?
I think it's going to be a close game. I mean, Princeton's hot right now, and why not ride that streak? But I think Creighton might be a little bit too much for them. I'm not a fan. Like, I want Princeton to win. I love both these teams, but I think Creighton might be too much for them this year, and I think they're going to fall short.
Yeah, I agree with you. It'd be great to see them get in, but it's going to be tough against Creighton. I do think, looking at the sports betting, it's a 10-point line or 10-point spread. So I would like Princeton to cover that. I think, like you said, it'll be a closer game. It could come down to one or two missed shots or made shots at the end to be the difference. But I do think Creighton is slightly better and will be able to get that one done.
Yeah, I think Princeton will definitely cover the spread tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be – that's what also makes this fun is because the betting aspect, you look at it, but it's just so many close games. And March Madness is always close. It never really matters who the teams are to an extent. It's just always fun, exciting basketball, and anything can happen down the stretch.
Yep.
But you think either the one seeds get upset tonight? We'll start with Alabama versus San Diego State.
I think this might be a hot take, but I think SDSU might take this one. I love Alabama this year, and I know they've got such a cupcake schedule, like heading into the Final Four or Elite Eight. But I think, like, man, SDSU has such a tough defense, and if they can get their shots falling, they can beat anyone in the country.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's definitely the matchup of the day tonight. And if Brandon Miller has an off night shooting like he did in the first round, I mean, Alabama did kill him, but SDSU is no joke. So I'll watch out for that game.
No, and SDSU always seems like an exciting team in March. They're always one I pick in my brackets to make a little bit of a run. This year, they actually could go even further, Elite Eight, possibly even Final Four. I want to say, does the winner of that play? Is it the winner of Xavier, Texas? No, that's Houston. So yeah, winner of that would play Creighton or Princeton, I believe.
Yeah.
So shoot, San Diego State in the Final Four.
I would love that. That'd be so cool to watch.
Because I mean, I don't even think they made it that far with Kawhi. So
no, they didn't.
Yeah,
because they got upset by Kemba Walker that year. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Cardiac Kemba and that insane run by the Huskies.
Mm-hmm.
But no,
so I think a really cool match would be Princeton versus SDSU. I would love that.
That'd be so much fun because I mean, defense at both ends and just fun, free flowing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But Miami, Houston, I think Houston kind of gets this one done relatively straightforward.
Yeah.
I know you saw Miami beat Indiana last time. What were your kind of thoughts on that Miami team? Do you think they can put up a problem for Houston?
I think they can put up a problem for a little bit of time, but man, that Houston defense and just their offense just doesn't stop. I mean, you saw that against who am I thinking? Who did they play last game?
Oh, Auburn.
Auburn, yeah. I mean, they were down by a lot. In my bracket, I was just shaking. My teeth were just chattering at that sight of like being down by 10 at halftime. I was like, another year, my bracket's screwed again. So, but I mean, this Houston team is something different. I picked them last year. They fell short, but I mean, I think this could be their year. I've said a lot of teams could win, but Houston, I think overall, just the most well-rounded. I feel like based on just defense, offense, shooting, just everything, they can win the national championship.
Absolutely. And I mean, you mentioned how rough it was in the first half. They outscored Auburn in that second half 50-23. So their offense did not slow down one bit. And kind of scary when you know it's a second half team and you can have a lead of double digits going into the break. But I like Houston in this. I like Houston all season. They've been fun to watch. Yeah, was it the American Conference? Them, UConn.
Yep.
They're represented right now.
Yeah.
And even Xavier, I believe, is in there still. So it's exciting stuff. And who knows? It could be a Houston UConn final. That's what I'm predicting.
I would love to watch
that. That'd be just classy. I wonder what their matchups were earlier this season. But yeah, UConn beat Houston by 6, and then I think Houston beat UConn in the reverse. Is that right? Seems right. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on. Oh, no, this is 2020. I don't know why they're giving me that. But anyway, they would have played 2 games in the regular season, most likely being in that same conference. So should be exciting if that was the case. And one more matchup tonight. I think it's a late game. Texas versus Xavier. I'm not sure how I feel about this one. This could go either way.
It's a good matchup. Really I think that Xavier is a very good team. And earlier, like in March Madness, they came back and were very frustrated with like each other in the game, and it showed. But they got together, they came back. But as I said in the Slack chat a few weeks ago when they were playing Penn State, I was like, Texas could be the national championship, and they looked like the national champion against Penn State. And I mean, you have guys like veteran players like Marcus Carr. I mean, he can lead a team, and he can do it very well. So I got Texas in this one. I know I'm picking all the favorites, but I feel like Vegas always knows, and I think this year, hook 'em.
Hook 'em?
Hook 'em.
I'm gonna go the other way. We're gonna go horns down in this one. I'm taking Xavier with this. I do think it'll be a very, very close game. I just don't know. I always feel like Texas will find a way to mess themselves up, shoot themselves in the foot down late, but we'll see. And correction on my earlier thing. Houston is in the American Conference or American Athletic Conference, and UConn's in the Big East, so didn't play this regular season. Don't know why. For some reason, I thought the Big East had kind of folded, but who knows?
UConn's still in.
UConn and Xavier still in there. Marquette was in there, so it was just a solid conference this year.
Mhm.
But no, I do like Xavier. Who do you like in that one though? Texas. So you say Texas against Houston. Do you think Texas can get the upset and be the 2 seed in the Final Four?
I think Texas could, but I mean, I picked Houston for a reason in my bracket, and I think I got to stick with them. So I'm going Houston. Go Cougs.
Yeah, I think Houston beats either Xavier or Texas. I think they're just that good of a team and good defensively, consistent scoring of offensively, just all around a great team and deserving of one of those 4 number 1 seeds.
Mhm.
And the other side, I guess, we said San Diego State or Alabama. Do you think the winner of that kind of rolls over Princeton or Creighton?
Yeah, I do. The winner of that game is going to like either the national championship or the Final Four.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, that'd be a fun Final Four. Would it be Alabama versus Houston? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would
Alabama
be.
versus Houston in the national championship, and
Oh,
then
that'd be in the national championship. That's not the Final Four.
And then you have Trey's Gonzaga possibly, but they're gonna get upset by Kansas State. They play them, right? I'm pretty sure.
They play. Yeah, I'm pulling that up now. No, yeah. So Kansas State would play Alabama. Say all the high seeds win. Be Kansas State, Alabama. It'd be UConn or Gonzaga versus Houston or whoever comes out of that Midwest.
Okay.
But that'd be fun. Gonzaga against Houston or even UConn Houston.
Love that.
We will.
Zags have no shot. Keep shit talking them. Trey, I feel like your run's gonna end. You can pull all the shit you want in the Slack chat. I feel like there's no way that Gonzaga is gonna win. And I said it before, you're an absolute fool for taking them this year. You proved me wrong so far, so you can talk all the shit you want. But I feel like Gonzaga's too weak this year.
We see it year in, year out. They find a way just to choke when it matters the most. But like I said, no 1 seed next to their name, so maybe there's a little less pressure on them. Maybe they can just go out and play. And obviously Drew Timmy balling. But what's your champion? Who's your prediction for the final? What do you think? Who wins this?
I think it's just Houston, Alabama. I mean, I had that in my in one of my brackets. I had Houston winning, but they are 1 seeds. They are the 2 best teams in the country, and I feel like they've proven to be 1 seeds through and throughout. They've been battle tested. Alabama probably not as much as Houston, but I think they're going to get it done, and it's going to be a fun matchup, and Houston's going to take it.
Yeah, I like that. I do think if UConn is able to play Houston, I'll have UConn go to the final against Alabama. But either way, I think Alabama will fall short one way or another, whether it's Houston, UConn, Gonzaga. I think they could make it to the final still as well. But I'll stick with my gut pick. Alabama versus UConn. UConn takes it. Huskies get another national champion. So
I would love to see that. Even if my bracket was busted, it already is since day one. Shout out Oral Roberts. But that would be fun to watch UConn win it all.
It would be indeed. But we'll move on from college basketball, go to some NBA talk because there's some exciting playoff races here, especially in the Western Conference.
Yep.
I want to say it's 3 games separating the 5 seed LA Clippers and the 12 seed Utah Jazz. There's a lot to be played for. And I mean, the play-in, now that we have the play-in, makes all these games more meaningful because you get a 7 or 8 seed and you just need 1 win to get into the actual playoffs, whereas you fall 9 or 10 and you need to win twice, which it's not easy to do at all, especially when the second one would be on the road no matter what.
Yep. I mean, man, I don't know. I'm looking at the standings right now. How are the Timberwolves at the 7th spot? I have no idea. As a Minnesota boy, like, we are hot garbage. We are a dumpster fire. If anyone plays in Timberwolves in the play-in, that's a free win. I'm sorry. Like, come playoff time, come anytime, Timberwolves basketball, I'm sorry. I love Minnesota, but it's just not happening. With a loss yesterday to the Clippers, the Thunder just moved down from, I believe, the 8th spot, I think, the 7 or 8 spot, and now they're at 11. And that shows how tight this race has been. I think another just how many games are left. It's gonna be very cool to watch.
It's what about
Um,
like roughly 10 games, if not less, for each
yeah,
team. So
some of that. One thing I want to point out is Trey, who said the Nuggets were bad at play after the trade deadline. I think. Count me if I'm wrong. But they are 3.5 games ahead of the second place finisher in the West, Trey. Um, and they're looking like one of the best, or if not the best team in the NBA right now.
I
They've had struggles, but I would like to call Trey out on that because he always calls me out on wrong picks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as a Nuggets fan, I'm a little concerned at the moment because it has not been obviously won the last 2 games, but before then it was a little sketchy,
Hmm.
and it was a little concerning because I want to say had like a 7.5 game lead on the Grizzlies for that top spot in the West, and that's only down to 3.5.
Yep.
I like our odds to be able to still win the Western Conference regular season. I just don't know what this team's going to do in the playoffs. It can just be so different. We can see if Jamal is actually back to his full health. I was really predicting this year for the Nuggets before the season was going to be kind of not average, but definitely on the like 3, 4, 5 seed,
Hmm.
maybe a second round fallout in the playoffs. Whereas next season, I was expecting them to actually kind of get everything together. Have this year be a recovering year for Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray,
Hmm.
but then next year when they're fully healthy and recovered and ready to go up to game speed, back at it. But I don't know. It's a fun NBA season, especially in the West. Seeing the Nuggets, Grizzlies, and Kings at the top, it's a good time
Love seeing the
all
Kings at
around.
the top. Love seeing that.
They're going to be a tough out for anyone in the playoffs. It's not a gimme. I think they would play the Warriors right now, which I don't think many teams would want to do in the first round.
Yeah, I would not want to face the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
But back to your Nuggets point, they have a tough schedule
Yeah,
coming up.
it
They
is.
play the Bucks, the Sixers, the Pelicans, and the Suns. That's around out March. And then the Warriors, the Rockets, Suns, Jazz, Kings.
So pretty much, there's only one non-playoff contending team there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, even the Jazz, they might be in the 12 seed, but they're half a game back of being in the 8 seed. So
I mean,
little worrying down the stretch. This will show whether or not this team is capable of winning in the playoffs and putting something together. Because all those teams, contending teams that have done it in the past, maybe not necessarily the Pelicans, but obviously you got the Warriors, the Suns, the Bucks, the Sixers, who have all had deep-ish runs into the playoffs.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think out of the Eastern Conference right now, it's just the Bucks are the team to beat. As much as I love the Celtics, man, we look weak right now.
It's been
Marcus
a
Smart,
struggle as of late for them as well.
yeah, Marcus Smart does not look like the player he was, Defensive Player of the Year. I mean, I think they could just get upset by like the Knicks or the Heat or whoever they play. I mean, who knows? The Cavs look good. The Sixers look very good, even though they're kind of dwindled with injuries right now. Harden and Embiid are still kind of just like wishy-washy, just like are we in the lineup or out? But I feel like the Celtics depth could take them over anyone in the Eastern Conference, but the Bucks just look so good with Giannis.
Yeah, I will say I think it was a big win for the Celtics. I want to say on Tuesday against the Kings. Beat the
Yeah,
Kings in Sacramento by I want to say it was like 20 something points. So
yeah, 23.
yeah, so that's a big win because Sacramento doesn't lose many games at home, and
Hmm.
maybe that's kind of the boost that the Celtics need going down the stretch because I don't think their schedule's necessarily easy by any means, but yeah, obviously next 3 Pacers, Spurs, Wizards, and they have to play the Bucks at least once. Still have to
Bucks,
play the
Jazz,
Sixers,
yep,
Jazz,
Raptors,
Raptors, Hawks, which those teams are all those Raptors and Hawks 3 games at the end of the season.
Mhm.
Those are 2 teams fighting for their play-in lives. So
Yep.
who do
Another,
you think finishes with that 1 seed in the East? Do you think it is Milwaukee?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think Milwaukee's gonna win it. I think just like right now, just the concerns with the Celtics and just like the past few games, they've been kind of cold, just kind of off. I mean, I would love to see Joe Mazzulla kind of pick them up a bit like Ime did last year. But I think the Bucks are the team to beat. But outside of that, who do you think's gonna win?
In the East,
Yeah.
as far as like playoffs go, I don't know. I feel like the 76ers actually could do some damage in the playoffs this year. as long as obviously Embiid and Harden stay healthy, which has always been the question surrounding them. Embiid's out of games a ton this year, but I think he's now the number one. At least NBA has him as the number one ranked MVP candidate, so that'll be showing for him, which obviously I think he deserves it. I think if he goes 3 years putting up the numbers he has and loses all 3 MVPs, it's kind of a tough situation for him. But obviously, as a Nuggets guy, I want Jokic to win his 3rd straight.
Yep.
I think had he not gone on such a cold streak as of late, I think it's kind of hurt him. I think he's running away with it a bit. But in the East, I like the Sixers. Can't count out the Celtics in the playoffs, but it just feels like it'll be the Sixers or the Bucks going to the finals.
I can see that. The one thing that I think that the Celtics kind of edge the Sixers over is kind of their rivalry and just actual head-to-head play. They've just defended Embiid and Harden so well, and I feel like Sixers don't have as good of depth in the playoffs, or just not depth, but in the playoffs, but just like in their team in general. And you come to just NBA playoffs time, you're gonna get beat down like every single matchup. Like it's a dogfight out there. So I think Celtics, Derek White coming off the bench most games, Malcolm Brogdon. If Robert Williams is healthy, that's gonna be a tough matchup for whoever center has to go against him.
Because he's athletic, good on the boards, good defensively. It's just difficult matchup for any big man, even if your name is Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
Obviously, can't count out the Bucks. Have arguably the best player in the league, and I don't know. They've seemed to like almost Spurs-esque to me. You don't hear much talk about them apart from Giannis, yet they're still just sitting in that 1 seed year in, year out. Kind of reminds me of the Spurs with Tim Duncan and Tony Parker era of just always getting that 1 or 2 seed, but never really having much coverage of them.
Yeah, I love that. I love that take.
Yeah. What about the West? Who do you think comes out of the West for come playoff time, and who's going to be in the finals?
Man, I love some Kings basketball, light the beam, but I don't know. I feel like Suns will not make it, Clippers won't make it, Warriors won't make it, and I feel like everyone down just will not do anything. I think, sorry Jerry, but I don't think the Nuggets will.
I don't either.
Time.
No.
I think they'll lose to the Grizzlies or the Kings in the Western Conference Finals. I would love to see the Kings make it, but with Sabonis' like injury, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna take the Grizzlies, even with Ja Morant's kind of situation going on.
Yeah, I think he's back in the lineup now, isn't he? Or he played last night.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's gonna be tight. I would love to see any of those top 3 teams make it. Give us something new. Give us either a Kings, a Grizzlies, or a Nuggets team in that final. Obviously want the Nuggets, but I agree with you. I think there's just gonna be too much pressure, and I mean, home court advantage is huge in the NBA. Nuggets have that at a mile above sea level. The Sacramento Kings also have great home court advantage. I think it'll be one of those two, but I'm leaning towards the Kings despite Sabonis. It's just for me, as far as the Grizzlies go, as we've seen last year and even a bit as of late, they're better without Ja Morant almost.
Yeah.
For some reason, that team just clicks better, and it's just all around a better team without him. So with him back in the lineup might mean a little bit more questionable decisions at times, a little bit too much of him having the ball. So we'll see. But I'm taking the Kings in the finals against the Sixers. God, that'd be an interesting matchup.
That's a weird matchup.
Yeah, they just
kind of gross.
It just didn't sound right saying it. But
the Kings in the finals, like 10 years back, who would have thought that? Especially the Sixers too.
Yeah, I mean, even then, the Kings haven't made the playoffs since what? For 16 years, I want to say. 16, 17
Mike
years.
Bibby played for them.
Yeah, I want to say it was Mike Bibby era Kings. Is it Jason Williams on the Kings at that point as well? Is that White Chocolate Kings?
It might have been. I don't want to quote anyone on that, but I think you're right.
Not either, but find out. I mean, it's all fun. I don't think the Suns will do it. I think if anyone could do it outside of those top 3, it would be them, just because they have had that playoff experience before. But I don't know. I just don't feel I feel like they'll find a way to mess it up and not be there.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, they have a couple big injuries at the moment as well, don't they?
Who does?
The Kings, don't they have?
Yeah, Sabonis, and then Kevin Huerter is kind of.
Oh, not the Kings. I meant the Suns.
Oh, KD,
Yeah, KD's obviously out.
Aiton's out.
Yeah.
I don't know who else.
God, looking at this Kings roster, last time the Kings made the playoffs, 2005, 2006. We'll just read off a couple of these names. Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Ron Artest before he was Meta World Peace and the Panda's friend. Obviously, Mike Bibby. Oh, God. This team is just a weird team. I don't know. They got the 8 seed, and I think they got bounced in that first round, but yikes.
Kings basketball.
Yeah, Kings basketball summed up right there. A bunch of random players that somehow make the playoffs. But no, there's as exciting as the NBA is, there's also NHL playoff races coming on. Roughly 10 games left for everyone there as well. And it's very close. I enjoy watching this wild card race on the Eastern Conference. It looks like the Islanders might have a little bit of an advantage there, but I'm not bought in on them at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. Sorry, Begdonis, my cousin. Not actually, but we look alike, apparently, according to Trey and everyone else. But I don't like the Islanders. I mean, they just don't seem flashy to me. I watched them over spring break against the Kings, and they just didn't seem that good. Sorry, Begdonis, but I would have loved to see the Sabres make the playoffs, but their injuries kind of just killed them.
Yeah, Sabres kind of obviously it was injuries, but same thing every year. They lead you on for so long and then just absolute dumpster fire at the end. And
they tease you and then just kind of pull the strings of the puppet master and kind of yank you away. And
yeah. I'll say it's the same with the Senators, at least this year. They were teasing for that playoffs and kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think the East is Boston and then everybody else. It's going to be tough to beat them in the playoffs in the 7-game series. They've just looked so good all season. Obviously, 55 wins in 71 games. I think they have more wins than Columbus has points. I think there's a couple other. Yeah, Columbus, Chicago, San Jose all have less points than the Bruins have wins. That's bad.
That's horrible.
For those three, but also insane for the Bruins.
Yeah. Are they going to beat the win record?
Oh.
What's the win record?
I want to say the win record's like 62 or 63 by the Red Wings.
Let me look it up.
Yeah,
it is.
Here.
What is it?
Current record is 62 wins set by Detroit in 95-96.
And Tampa, right?
And yeah, Tampa 2018-19 got that as well.
So it needs 7 more wins or 8?
Yeah. What? I guess they have 55 wins now. They need 63 to tie.
Oh, 63.
Or 63 to win. 63 to win. Yeah, so 8 more wins in 11 games.
They've got
It's possible, but I don't think they have necessarily the friendliest of schedules to do so.
Yeah, so Lightning at home, Hurricanes, Predators, Blue Jackets, Penguins, Blues, Leafs, Devils, Flyers, Capitals, Canadians.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely some very winnable games in there, but it's going to be like the Hurricanes. Are they going to be able to beat them? Yeah. And it's also, you've pretty much locked up the 1 seed in the East. Are you going to rest some players before playoff time?
Yeah.
Give some of them a breather. I know hockey, it's very difficult to do that just because it is such a hard, fast game that the players kind of always have to be game ready. But I still wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of those Bruins stars take a little bit of a break.
Yeah, I could see Pasternak and Marchand kind of dip out of the lineup for a little bit and leave it to the guys who need to prove something. Do you rest Ullmark or Swayman?
I feel like you don't. I feel like
keep them hot.
Active, yeah, exactly. Active lineup or like defender forward players, open ice. They can take a little bit of a break. For goalies, I feel like it's a lot harder to just take 3, 4, 5 days off and then get back into that reflex and just everything of facing these NHL shots and just everything that involves with it. I think you got to keep going with them. I mean, you said riding the hot hand. They got to keep riding it. You can't let them get cool. Don't want to take any of the momentum away from them because as I've seen with the Avs in the past few seasons before last year, inconsistent goalie plays that have been the downfall of any good team.
That's true. I mean, Ullmark's stats right now are
Oh,
unbelievable.
it's absurd.
35, 5-1. He's almost a .94 save percentage
Yeah,
and a
that's
1.95 goals against average.
never would have thought that would have come from a goalie who used to play for Buffalo, but
He was sick with that
he
mask.
was.
That
Yeah,
minion mask. Oh, I love that.
yeah, he's
Love
just
that.
absolute stud. I mean, who's the other one? Swayman.
Jeremy Swayman. Or
He's been having pretty solid numbers as well, especially as of late.
yeah.
Yeah, he's got 9.2 or 0.921 save percentage. Gives up 2.19 goals a game. That's still not a lot at all, especially
That's
for a
still very good.
team that has a holy crap plus 116 goal difference.
That's crazy.
The next highest is New Jersey at plus 54.
54?
54. The Devils are the second best goal difference at 54. The Bruins 116.
I mean, who's beating them? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think anyone can. They don't give up goals and score a ton. It's absurd.
Like they beat the Canadians yesterday like 4-2, I'm pretty sure. And the Canadians outshot them by a lot. Don't count me on that, but I was watching it, I was like, yo, it's like 30-16 in shots and they're winning like 4-2. What the hell? Like they don't like they take a lot of like a good amount of shots in other games, but they score. Like they're taking good shots and they
Yeah.
play smart too.
Yeah, Bruins also lead the league in goals, or fewest goals against. My only concern with them is that the East definitely stacked itself up at the trade deadline. So maybe they're all going to beat each other up a bit in the playoffs. But even then, I don't really see any teams in the West. I'm not bought in on Dallas at all. Obviously, I want to say the Avs, but even we've looked a lot better as of late, but still a little iffy here and there.
Yeah.
You think the Wild could do anything?
No.
And then obviously never bought in on any Pacific teams. Oilers are wasting Connor McDavid's career. Just going to put that out there. So sad.
It is.
Or
I mean,
the
get this
best
man some
player.
help,
Yeah.
please. Like
I mean, he has Draisaitl, but even then it's two players, and then kind of that's it.
who else? Like
Yeah.
no one. They don't have like a good goalie. Like they thought they were doing something with.
Is it Campbell?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know.
Awful.
What do you think of the Western Conference, though? Because, I mean, right now we'll look at the Central Division. Both Minnesota and the Avs are in there.
Mhm.
Avs have 2 games less played than both Dallas and Minnesota, but 3 points back of Minnesota, 4 back of Dallas. That's really anyone's division to win at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking at it right now too. The Wild, 91 points, 3 games back or 3 points ahead, but I mean Dallas has looked very good. They got their win yesterday against much needed win against the Penguins yesterday. Kings, I'm not really convinced on them. I'm kind of concerned about their goaltending as a whole. Corpusalo just doesn't scream just sexy to me. I'm sort of like, but he's just not that good. Like I watched him against the Islanders and he just like didn't seem too impressive to me. And you need a good goalie come playoff time. The Kraken have fallen off a lot. I think the Jets could be a sleeper team.
They could be, because there was a point where they were top of the Central Division and looked like they were going to possibly pull away with it, but and struggled for a little bit there.
Yep.
The
Golden Knights too.
Yeah, you can never count out Vegas. I don't know. I just see the Western Conference representative coming from the Central, whether it's Dallas or Winnipeg or Colorado, maybe even Minnesota. Looking at the schedules now, that's the only concerning thing as far as the Wild go for winning the division is they got a tough schedule compared to the likes of the Avs and Stars.
Yeah, they do.
Because I know the Avs have to play, I think, San Jose twice, Dallas or Anaheim twice, the Coyotes twice still. So those are all should be winnable games.
Yeah, Coyotes back-to-back, Ducks, and then Wild. So that's 6 points right there.
Yeah, that's going to be a big back-to-back. They play the Wild and then
the Stars.
The Stars is 2 straight games. Obviously got some days in between, but that could make or break like all 3 of those teams' division hopes.
Yeah.
That could decide it there.
They're both at home too. And then you play the Sharks away, the Kings away, the Ducks away, Oilers at home, Jets home, and then finish off the Predators. Like That's how many wins is that? That's a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'd say upwards to like almost 10 wins
Yeah.
for the Avalanche in that standpoint right there.
Then you look at the Wild schedule. Obviously, Blackhawks probably pretty winnable. You'd think.
Mhm.
Kraken depends on what Kraken team shows up. Really
Yeah.
does. And then Avs could go either way because the Wild always play well against the Avs. And this is the scary part for me. At Vegas, home to Vegas, and at Pittsburgh because Pittsburgh's been looking pretty solid as of late.
Yeah.
And then obviously Blues, Blackhawks, Jets, and Preds.
Mhm.
So 4 winnable games towards the end, but it's going to be some exciting hockey down the stretch.
I agree. And the Devils could clinch a playoff spot
Okay.
tonight against the Sabres. So
I assume they just need a win.
yeah, winning you're in. They've got I mean, Sabres are having a goal U as a 3.6 goals against average, but Luukkonen, Ukko, Pekka, Luukkonen. So everyone's slamming the Devils right now. So
yeah,
they just got to show up.
Yeah, it's pretty much show up, play your game, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's also like, I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about this playoffs, but I do have another question. After, who do you think is going to get Bedard? Because there's some pretty bad teams at the bottom. It's like Columbus is currently last, then San Jose, Chicago, Anaheim, Montreal. It's all lining up to me for Montreal to win the lottery.
I don't want Bedard to. It would be so cool, like for him to go to the Canadiens, but I don't want to see him in a Canadiens jersey.
No,
I just don't. It's a big market, and it is the Canadiens. He is Canadian. Like it'd be cool for him to go and stay in his home country, but I want him to go to Arizona.
Yeah, let me see him at Mullet Arena.
I would love to see him at Mullet Arena.
God,
bring in all the ASU fans. Like,
oh, absolutely. Because I mean, that was the issue with Gila River Arena. Was I mean, while I was at Arizona State for school, it was always the Coyotes games are there, and it's such a pain in the ass to get to.
yeah,
No public transportation over there. Even Ubers are like $40 to get there and get back each way. Meanwhile, the new arena right on campus, bringing ASU students there, bringing fans who are easy. It's easy to get to. It's like Suns games. It's as easy. But I think that'd be funny seeing him playing a 5,000 seat dump. But
that was so cool.
Yeah, I just don't want to see him. Don't really want to see him go to Montreal. I honestly don't want to see him go to Chicago.
No,
those are the two I just don't want.
It'd be sick to have him in a Blackhawks jersey. Like they would sell out of the roof.
Oh, absolutely.
But I just don't want like Chicago to be good again.
Yeah.
The Wild have gotten their ass kicked in so many years, and I just don't want that to happen again. Like they already have Krill, and like they're doing good for once. They might not do something, but they're winning. So I think one team that I absolutely hate for him to go to is Columbus. If the Blue Jackets get him, I'm throwing a riot. Like that is. I think the NHL just can't let that happen. Just please rig it. Yeah. Please Patrick Ewing this draft. Like just don't let him go to Columbus. That's all I ask.
I wonder if it's like Columbus gets the pick and he refuses to sign with him. See something like that? Could you imagine the scenes? Columbus gets the first overall pick and Bedard comes out and says, "Yeah, I'm not playing for Columbus." Because someone did that. I want to say someone did that in the last like 10 years or one of the.
Oh, it was a while back.
Oh, okay.
He was getting drafted to the. Oh my God!
I want to say it was John Elway. Was it John Elway with the Colts? He pretty much said, "I'm not going to play for you," and then he got traded to the Broncos.
Eli Manning.
Oh, Eli Manning as well. Yeah.
I was thinking NHL. I'm blanking on his name. He played for a Canadian team. They don't exist anymore. Oh my God. Why am I blanking on their name? I can't think of them. I'm going to look this up.
It's not the old Winnipeg Jets.
No.
Oh my. This is bad. This is very bad. Old Canadian teams?
Eric Lindros. That's who it was.
Oh yeah.
That's the Quebec Nordiques and got traded for the Big E. The Big E got traded for Forsberg too. Yeah, thank you, Trey. Eric Lindros.
Yeah.
was blanking on his name.
Oh my, yeah. Because what he didn't want to play for Quebec, so they traded for Peter Forsberg, right?
Yep.
That turned out great.
Flyers.
As an
Mhm.
Avs fan, love to see that. Because I mean, still great. Quebec Nordiques, worst team in hockey, relocate to Colorado and win the cup after getting their rivals goalie. Great story.
Love that. Love to
But,
see it.
but back to the playoff side of things, do you think anyone can beat Boston, or do you think in either conference, or do you think it's really theirs to win?
It's theirs to win. I mean, they're gonna beat themselves if anything. I think the one team is just the Leafs. I'd love to see the Devils do some work against the Bruins. Like if they win like 2 games, I think that's a win for them. Like,
Correct. You
but
said the Leafs.
the Leafs.
Okay.
I mean, they've like been kind of behind them ever since. I mean, it is Toronto after all we're talking about, so
Yeah.
they'll probably lose it in 7 games. So
Do they even get past Tampa? Do they finally break the curse of not getting out of that first round?
ugh,
Because I don't love that matchup for either team. Because
I don't either.
I think that's what I'm saying. I think the East could beat themselves up in the Rangers versus Devils, Toronto, Tampa.
Hmm.
Those are some tough series, but
Yeah. I'm excited for if the Devils play the Rangers. I hope we beat them because, oh my gosh, I'm
oh
rooting for
yeah,
so many of my friends.
oh it'd be so fun.
Love
It's
that.
it's a win for everyone when the Rangers lose to either the Islanders or the Devils. It's just a
Yeah,
win.
such a win. I love that.
Well, I mean, right now it'd be Boston against Pittsburgh in that first round.
That's a cool matchup.
That's a little
That's got some
spicy.
history behind it.
Absolutely, a
Yeah.
lot of black and gold in those seats. I'll just say it that way. But no, that could be an interesting one. I do think Boston's just too good for anyone in the East. As far as the West goes, do you think anyone out there can give them any trouble? Really?
The Avalanche.
Okay.
I'm not saying that to like kiss your ass or anything,
No,
but I think the Avalanche are the best team in the West right now.
I do
Sorry,
agree with
Trey.
you. I do agree with you there.
Vegas is. I'm just concerned about their goaltending. I know Quick's been like pretty good, but I just don't think they got a great playoff goalie. Quick is good, but
He's
I just
also
don't
what 36 now, 37.
he's a dinosaur. He's getting up there. So
Edmonton? No, I'm just kidding. Edmonton won't do much. I can see the Oilers beat the Kings and then probably get smacked around by Vegas, but that'd be a fun Western Conference final. Avs Vegas again.
that'd be sick.
That'd be a very solid. I mean, that's the only thing I could see a Western Conference team winning it is if they kind of go on a tear and just because of the ease of kind of that conference to an extent.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the ease, but it's not as physical. It's more, oh, you can get through quick, rest players, and then have some time off to prepare for Boston, who might have to go to game 6 or 7 at times.
Yeah.
But Stanley Cup prediction for now. What are you thinking? Avs Bruins or
Yeah.
yeah?
Sorry,
Bruins,
Trey. Stone won't matter to them.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose anyways.
Oh man, Vegas losing to Seattle in that first round. No.
Oh, I would love that. Oh, please let that happen. I would love to see the Kraken beat.
So right now Vegas is still the 1 seed, so they need Winnipeg to hop up a place.
Come on, Winnipeg.
It's going to be difficult because they're a point back of Seattle for that first wild card seed. They've played 2 more games than Seattle, so that'd be a spicy series. Also, Winnipeg Vegas.
That'd be cool. I would love that.
That would be exciting because I mean, this is hockey playoffs. You can never count anybody out. We've seen 8 seeds win it. We see chaos all the time. It's kind of like March Madness. You just never know what's going to happen and who's going to really step up.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Blues against the Bruins like a few years ago.
Exactly.
They had their run, so who knows?
But otherwise, is there anything else you want to kind of discuss in the world of sports at the moment?
I think one last thing is it's kind of been on the cusp of just like I think my mind is, and for like the past few seasons, where is DeAndre Hopkins going?
That's a good question. Because I mean, well, he's still in Arizona. Is he still under contract in Arizona, or is he a free agent at the moment?
I think he's still under contract, but they're gonna trade him soon.
Yeah,
Don't
Kyler Murray will return to being terrible. Where do you? I don't know what a good fit for Hopkins would be. So obviously, there's teams that need receivers, but is it?
I don't know.
Hopkins to the Bears? I know they just got DJ Moore, but
that would be so cool.
that's the first one that came to my mind. Hopkins in Chicago. with Fields.
That's nasty. That is disgusting. I would love to see that. I think Buffalo. I think Buffalo or Minnesota would be great fits for D Hop.
Yeah.
It's not just me being a partial Vikings fan.
Oh no, I think that'd be a solid
That'd be
place for
cool.
him. And
Jettas,
especially
and
getting rid of Adam Thielen now, which his career took a quick turn, in my opinion.
I just feel bad for him.
Yeah,
I mean, he's on pace to break Calvin Johnson's record for like receiving yards or some 100-yard games, and man, he got Diggs pushed into him. He became a true number one. Then Jefferson. So, I mean, I hope Thielen does something in Carolina. I would love to see it.
I'm gonna give one other place that would make or be interesting, at least for Hopkins to get traded to, if everything goes right for the Jets and they get Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers and DeAndre Hopkins in New York or New Jersey, technically.
That's so gross.
Oh, it's gross, but I mean, it could could potentially work out for him. Don't know if it would or not, but just imagine seeing those two rocking the nasty New York Jets green.
The deep ball for the Jets. I mean, you got Garrett Wilson. You now have McCole Hardman, D Hop, Breece Hall. Like the passing,
not a bad team.
No, that's a good team.
Yeah,
that's a Buffalo beater right there.
I mean, we still got to see what happens with Odell because I know Aaron Rodgers wanted Odell to go wherever he goes, but he's another player that just kind of fallen quickly.
Trey says Odell's going to the Bills.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah,
that'd be kind of cool. Diggs and Odell, pair him with Josh Allen.
Absolutely, another team, long balls all day.
Yeah, Gabe Davis,
fantasy hero for a lot of people, I think. But
love Gabe Davis.
Yeah, I don't know. NFL season because the draft's coming up. This upcoming month? Oh, he said Hopkins to the Bills.
Yeah, Hopkins.
That'd be spicy.
That's even better, dare I say?
Yeah, that's the one thing. I not follow the NFL closely enough to really know the ins and outs of certain players, but that would be, or more, I guess, the rumors going on. But that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Diggs one side, Hopkins the other, Gabe Davis in the slot, and then Josh Allen just launching 70-yard bombs to him.
Don't forget about Dawson Knox.
Oh, Dawson Knox, one of the better tight ends, I guess. So
yeah.
I mean, it's easy to be a good tight end when you have all those receivers around you. It's just another weapon.
Yep.
But no, otherwise, I don't have much else to discuss. Is there anything else you do want to talk about? We covered a bit of that NFL stuff. So
I think I'm good today, Jerry.
Yeah, sounds good with me. Obviously, some exciting basketball coming up. March Madness, NBA, NHL, NFL draft around the corner. Stay in touch with all of our stuff at Vendetta Sports Media. Our website has all of our stories. We cover literally everything. We got music, we got gaming, we got movies, obviously all the sports. And check out our stuff on Twitter. Reach out to Griffin on Twitter at Crest_Griffin. And reach out to me on Twitter at JerryF007 because we want to hear your thoughts. Are we crazy thinking that Boston's kind of a shoo-in for the Cup? I don't think anyone would disagree with us there, but who knows? Is Vegas actually going to do a run? Are Gonzaga going to beat UConn? Answer's no, but we'll see. But otherwise, thank you guys for watching. A good one, and we'll see you next time.